Welcome to Plastic Surgery T&A. I am Earl Stephenson Jr., your Atlanta board certified plastic surgeon. And again, welcome back to all my returning viewers. This is the podcast for truth and transformation. For you that are new, welcome as well. We try on this platform to dispel myths about plastic surgery, give you information about plastic surgery, because most people want to improve something about themselves, and sometimes surgery creeps into that equation. And if that's you, then you need to get the truth. There's tons of information about plastic surgery on all types of social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And sometimes you just get inundated with all that stuff and you don't know what's real and what's not. So I'm here to drop the truth to you. You can use this information and come and work with me. I would love that. But if you can't, then you can use that information and go to someone that you trust. So if you like this content, I have to say that because it helps me, then please like and share. And most importantly, subscribe because it really would give me more views, which can help this channel grow. And I can do some extraordinary things because I have some extraordinary ideas of how to take this on a bigger scale. But it starts with me, obviously, and then it also starts with you by pushing this content forward if it's helpful for someone that you know or really helpful for yourself. So with that being said, let's cut to the chase. As I kind of take and decide what content I want to talk about each week, you know, a lot of people have told me, you need to talk about maybe before and afters. And not so much before and afters of your particular clients, but maybe before and afters of people that everyone would know. So celebrities. And there are a lot of, you know, post content about celebrity before and afters by, a bajillion plastic surgeons. So this is nothing new, but I like to give you my take because again, we're about truth and transformation. And I think I'm going to give you the truth. Now, I deliberately picked these without delving deep and understanding one, if the rumor is true, and this is called reality and rumors, uh, that these particular individuals have plastic surgery. That's the first thing I did not do. The second thing I did not do in that deep dive or the lack of a deep dive to figure out if it was true, what they actually had, because I didn't want to jade my experience. I want to give you my opinion from my aesthetic eye and my 20 years plus experience. What I'll do in a subsequent videos, I thought of a couple of things. I would, one, come back after doing a deep dive to see if my opinion in this podcast matches what actually has been done based on research. Two, I think I might pull my wife in because she's really good. She's got a good aesthetic eye. She's a brand photographer. So she knows about color, lighting, shadows, shades, and she can kind of chime in about what she thinks has been done, what she thinks about the before and afters, because I think that really is critical. Because at the end of the day, you want to improve whatever area that you are concerned with, but you want it to look good to other people. You want it to present well. So she has some unique insight on that as well. I think us together can really give you some unusual and helpful insight. So with that, we've got 6, I believe, cases, I'll call them. Of those 6, the very last one will be an example of what I think is a great result, and I'll tell you why. So let's get started. So let's pull this up. So Blake Lively. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know a lot about some of these people. I just know who they are. I cannot, again, tell you their life story. That's not what I'm here for. That's not my thing. But I believe Blake Lively, I don't know what she's done to be a star other than being married to, I believe, Ryan Reynolds, who's the Deadpool guy. So this is what she looked like as a before. Somebody took a picture before, whenever that was, to our left of the screen, and then after. It's rumored that she spent about $7,500. Okay. What do I think is different from the left side to the right side? Well, let's be methodical because it's easy to kind of have the same approach. so that we can kind of look at things, you know, look at things in a measured and consistent manner. So let's start from head to toe or head to chin. So if you look at the top, we'll start at the forehead. Yeah, I don't really see any difference there. Probably in that picture, the picture on the left's a little grainy. It's a much older picture. I'm gonna make some assumptions. She's probably had some Botox. Her forehead skin looks pretty smooth. You know, pretty good. So I'm gonna suggest that number one, she's probably had some Botox. So what is Botox? Botox is something scary that people say is a neurotoxin. It is a neurotoxin if you want to be technical, but it's not like a neurotoxin of chemical warfare. It is specially designed to dampen down the activity of muscle. The FDA has approved areas such as the forehead, the glabella, which is between the eyes, and the crow's feet. But plastic surgeons and dermatologists and anybody else who believes that they should be injecting Botox do it in other places. They can give it in the upper lip, kind of have a lip flip. They can do it in the neck for neck bands. They can do it in the jaw to kind of reduce the mass of the jaw muscles to kind of narrow the face. But typically and consistently, it's given in the in the forehead, glabella, and crow's feet. So I think she's had some Botox. Looking at her eyelids, to me, they look the same. The upper eyelid has kind of the same shape, kind of the same hooding. I don't really see more upper eyelid on the right, which would indicate that she had an upper eyelid lift. So I think that's good. Now, she may have had something done to her lower lids. It may just be her expression. If you see this little roll right here, particularly if you look at the left picture and look at her right eye on the left picture, you see this kind of little roll under that lower eyelid, and you can see a little bit. You can see it also on the opposite eye of that picture on the left. That's just a little active eye muscle. There is an eye muscle that circles the eye, kind of like raccoon eyes. It's a little circle. It's called, the fancy word is called the orbicularis oculi, which helps you kind of open and close your eye. That muscle on the lower half of the eye on the left is really active and gives you that little ridge. On the right, you look at it, you don't really see that as much. Now, that could be due to many things. That could be due to the distance and magnification of the picture. On the left, she's really close up, and you can really see things a lot more definedly. On the right, she's a little bit further back, so that could be an issue. It could be that on the left, she's really smiling and animated and really activating that muscle. On the right, maybe not so much. So that probably those are probably two reasons why it looks a little different. And then of course her makeup to me, and I'm not a makeup guy, but I will comment on that. And that's where I think my wife will be a great asset as we kind of maybe a couple podcasts from now revisit this, get her opinion. I think her makeup's pretty good. It's pretty even. It's a nice skin tone. I think it matches her neck pretty well. It's well applied, doesn't look chalky or cakey. So it may be the makeup application and selection that kind of reduces that shadow on the lower eyelid. So I don't think she's had a lower blef. It's possible. I think this is due to lighting, makeup, magnification of the picture. So far, I think she just had Botox. Now, obviously, as we move down, I think she's had a nose job. She's had a rhinoplasty. Now, again, these pictures are not apples to apples. It's a little bit apples to unripe apple. And what I mean by that, the picture on the left is a little bit more of a head turn versus a straight on shot like you have on the right. But as you can see on the left, if you look at her nose, it's really broad right here, and it probably has a little bit of a hump. And her tip is a little bit broad as well. So she's got, kind of you know, a nose that maybe doesn't fit her features. So if you kind of look at the right, you can see that nose has been narrowed a bit. Now, I will say this for this plasty and this rhinoplastic surgeon, they did a okay job. They did a pretty good job. They narrowed it and improved it. You can see it's less wide, but they didn't overdo it. It doesn't look like a pencil nose. And we'll see more examples of that as we move forward. But they did a pretty good job of narrowing it naturally. So I think it looks pretty natural. I think they worked on their tip. Again, they didn't make it too thin or too small, like a sorority girl. It's pretty natural for her. I think it really fits her face. So this is a nice. I would say if I had to grade it, this is a B plus rhinoplasty. I think it's good. Rhinoplasties are hard. I'm not knocking the doctor. Rhinoplasties are really tough, but I think this person did a nice job. I don't think she's had any really enhancement of her cheeks. Her cheek makeup is really nice. I think it's, again, really evenly distributed. She's got a nice subtle blush, not this harsh kind of reddish pinkish uh, area that's kind of blobbed on. It's really nice. So I think she's good there. She might have had something done to her upper lip very subtly. If you look to the left, her upper lip is really small, but again, or thin. Again, she's really cheesing it up. And so that lip can get really dynamic and thin out. And then on this right side, she is animated, but not to the same degree that she is on the left. So maybe she had some subtle enhancements of her upper lip. You can do that with a couple of ways. You can use what we call hyaluronic acid, and those are naturally occurring substances that are then man-made. Hyaluronic acid gives you kind of flexibility, can you see, to your skin. It kind of gives you resiliency and kind of makes it move and soft and rubbery. That hyaluronic acid can be packaged and marketed as Juvederm or Restylane. Those are the two big players. And so either one is pretty good. I prefer Juvederm. It's just been around a lot longer. I've got more familiarity with it. I have used Restylane quite a bit, but Juvederm worked well for me. So Juvederm in the upper lip, such as Juvederm Volbella, it's really soft. It gives you nice correction contour. You don't overdo it. So I think she might have had a slight enhancement of her upper lip because you see a little bit more show to her upper lip. As we move down, I think her chin looks about the same to me. Her neck and looks about the same, as well as her jawline. So, in summary, I think, and probably reasonably priced based on the time, depending on what she had it done. She's had some Botox and probably still does. She's probably had an upper lip filler. And then she had her major procedure was a rhinoplasty. So that would be my guess. Again, we'll come back in a couple of episodes and see if I were right. If I was right, when I dig down and do a little research. So that's the first case. So that's what I think she's had. Let's look at the next one. So this is Clay Aiken. Now I do know of him. I watched a half a second of whatever those little shows are where you basically come on and sing and become the next great star. So he was on one of those episodes or series or what years of those shows. I can't even remember the name of it, but anyway, this is Clay Aiken. It's rumored that he spent an estimated $11,000 on some cosmetic surgery. Again, we're comparing apples to an unripe apple, not apples to oranges. We do have a facial frontal, but on the left, he's a little bit turned. It's a little bit different magnification of distance. So we'll try to take those things with a grain of salt. So let's go through it systematically. Let's start at the top. I don't think he's really had anything done to his hairline, no hair implants. I don't think he's had anything done to his forehead per se. I'm just going to say, he's in the entertainment business, so he probably most definitely has at least had some Botox at least once, if not something ongoing. His brows look a little more arched to me, so he may have had a little bit of a brow lift. Now that can be done surgically, of course, but that's what can be done with Botox. So again, that may lean into that he probably has had Botox. You can place the Botox so that you can get a little bit of arching of the upper eyelid, of the brow tail, so that's not unusual. So he can have a non-surgical brow lift with Botox. I'm looking at his upper lid. His eyes they look a little done, if I could use that term. They look kind of done. Now he's wearing eyeliner, and again, forgive me, ladies. I'm kind of new to this makeup game. Like I said, my wife's really into it, so I've learned a lot from her. He's wearing eyeliner, okay, he's wearing eyeliner. I'll just leave it at that. So think he's wearing eyeliner on the other picture to the left, but his eyes look a little done to me. So maybe he had an upper bleph and a little bit of an internal brow lift. I would say that. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's had an upper bleph. Again, he on his left side, he's got that real animated look to his lower lids where he's got that muscle bulging. Again, he's a little bit more subdued on the right, so you don't really see that animation. So it's hard to say he's had anything done, but his eyes look really smooth. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's probably had some form of a lower bleph. That's my opinion. His nose, yeah, I think he's had a rhinoplasty again. And the reason I say that, again, he's a little turned to the left, so it's hard to say. He doesn't really have a wide nose, but he has a kind of a plunging tip on the left. It kind of is downturned. Now, it's hard to say because he's looking straight onto us now, but you can see this little area right here on the left hand side. This area right here hangs a little lower, almost like a little beak. When you look at it straight on, you don't see that fullness right there. So he's probably had some type of tip surgery to his nose. Moving down, he's not smiling, so it's hard to say about his teeth. His face looks shorter to me and more angular. So he's had some type of jaw enhancement, whether that's a filler to enhance and chisel his jaw. That's certainly something that could have been done, and that can be done with, again, a hyaluronic acid filler. Again, I lean more to the Juvederm family, so it could be something like Juvederm Volox. Uh, or Velux, excuse me. And so basically, you can use that to enhance the jawline and chin. So I think he's had something done there. So again, he's probably had some Botox. I think he's had an upper and lower bleph. I think he's had a tip rhinoplasty, and I think he's had some augmentation to his jaw, whether that's a hyaluronic acid filler, such as Juvederm Velux, or he's had some type of surgery where you can have actually implants placed or actually jaw surgery. He's wearing makeup, so his skin looks nice. I think it's a little too pasty and a little too shiny for a guy, but and I mean shiny, I mean a little bit too pasty, a little too smooth for a guy, but he's in the entertainment business, so this is what he does. So that's what I think happened to Clay Aiken. So let's move on to the next celebrity. All right, Miss Dolly. So now we all know Miss Dolly's got boobs, and those are fake boobs. Let's just call it as we see it. So we're not even talking about that. We're staying kind of clavicle or neck up. So again, you get the rhyme now and the reason. We got the before on the left and the quote after on the right. It's rumored that this Dolly spent about $25,000 on surgery. Now she's not bashful about saying, "Yeah, I have plastic surgery. I've got money. I've got resources. I care about my looks. I'm in entertainment, and I'm gonna do what I feel." So she's not been bashful about that. But be that as it may, again, we can all see that she's had boobs. Again, I did not dig down and see what she actually has done to keep this honest and fair. So let's look at her on the left. Um, Brows look good, smooth skin. She's of course younger. Nose looks pretty good. Eyelids look pretty good. Cheeks look pretty good. Everything looks reasonable, very good. Yeah, you kind of move over to the right. Of course, she's older. So let's start from the top. It's hard to see her forehead. Again, I'm just going to blanket Botox. We'll go from there. She has had an upper eyelid lift and a brow lift, and it's bad. And this is why it's bad. I'm gonna kind of loosen my hat here so I'm using myself as props here. So let me get my brows right. Her upper eyebrow is on the outside is way up. That's ridiculous. Normal brow, the end closest to the nose should probably be right at the rim of the eye. And this is the rim where I'm kind of pushing. As we kind of move outwardly, there's a slight slant up. If you were to kind of drop a line down and kind of all the way down imaginary to your cheek, that arch should start to kind of occur on the outside of your pupil, for lack of a better term, or your iris, and arch up slightly over the rim for women, maybe 1 or 2 millimeters, 1 or 2 millimeters, not 6. For a man, it can be just as flat as a pancake. It can be right on the brow or the orbit. So hers, especially this one on her left in the picture here on the right, that brow's way up. So that's a bad brow lift. That's terrible. You can see that she's got some unevenness to her eyes on the picture to the right. The the eye on the right side, our right side of the right picture, is much more open than the eye on the left. I think she's got some drooping or ptosis of that eye on the left in the right picture. That can be easily repaired with repairing that muscle. That could have been done at the time of her upper bleph, which is removal of the excess eyelid skin or eyelid lift. It's the layman's term. That could have been addressed there so that you have equalness of the upper eyelid level. So I think she's got ptosis of her eyelid on the left side of her picture here in the after picture. She's had hollowing. This is horrible. Hollowing of all the fat here of the upper eyelid. And let's just go over the anatomy in the upper eyelid. There are three, let's call them pockets. There's a pocket right underneath the skin and muscle here that has a little fat and gives you a little bit of bulge there. You may see people have a little bit of a fat bulge there. You want to contour that to make that area smooth. There is a amount of fat here in the center of the eyelid underneath the skin and muscle that can give a bulge, but really needs to be redistributed equally across the eyelid. And then in the corner here underneath the skin and muscle, there's no eye fat. There's the lacrimal gland, which is a little gland that helps with tears. Tears come from other places, but it helps with tearing. They completely hollowed out her fat, and now she's got nothing there, and that eyelid just recesses back and gives her kind of a skeletonized hollow appearance. And that's kind of called specifically an A-frame deformity because it can peak like that. That's bad. And who knows, they might have even damaged her upper eyelid muscle and gave her the ptosis. So it's just a really bad upper eyelid lift. She's probably had a lower eyelid lift, and that looks reasonable. But her upper lids and her brow are bad. I'm gonna say she probably has some tweaking to her nose. Her tip looks a little bit more pointed. You know, I think she had a good nose before. I probably wouldn't have messed with it, but I think she's had a tip rhinoplasty, if we want to say that, a tip nose job. She's definitely had fillers in her upper lip, and you can see that on the picture on the right. Her upper right side lip, it looks a little fatter. It looks kind of uneven or asymmetric. So she's definitely had that done. And she's had a facelift. Her facelift is not bad. They really cleaned up her jawline nicely, and her neck is not too bad. Now, the facelift or a facelift doesn't really work on the neck here. I don't know if you can see. Let me lean back. Does not work here. The power of a facelift is here and here, but mostly here. So they've really cleaned up her jawline really nicely. I don't know what they've done to her neck, but this may be makeup, this may be lighting, this may be, you know, routine skin care with episodes of chemical peels and so on and so forth. But her neck looks nice. Her neck does not give away her face. And what I mean by that, she's got a nice, what I believe to be a fairly natural facelift with good, kind of contours of her lower jaw, and it looks youthful, and her neck matches that. It looks equally youthful. It doesn't look haggard and old. That's a telltale sign that someone's had a facelift and their neck and overall skincare has been lacking. So for Dolly, again, blanket Botox. She's had a bad upper blepharoplasty or upper eyelid lift. She's had a bad brow lift. Reasonable lower eyelid lift. She's had a tip rhinoplasty where they just work with the cartilages of the tip because her nose is appropriately narrow. She's had upper lip filler, which is bad, and she's had a good facelift. So that's what I think happened with Dolly. All right, let's move right along. Let's take Dolly down, and now we have Donatella Versace. Now, I don't really know. I know the Versace name, but I don't know what she's done within that Versace branding to garner any type of celebrity other than being a Versace. So that's all I know. If you guys know anything that she's done just for my edification and education, you want to drop something in the comments, let me know. So again, you get the rhyme and reason. Left picture before, right picture after. Overall, she just looks bad overall. I mean, just a bad looking look. Uh, on the right, if she came to me, I would say to her, yeah, you probably need a rhinoplasty. Your nose is a little wide, so you need a little bit more definition to your tip. Jawline looks good, skin looks reasonable, neck looks good. She's young. That's the only thing I would recommend. Obviously, she's older in the right hand side of the picture. She's had a terrible, 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 terrible rhinoplasty. She's bad. She's still wide. She's got a kind of manly, bulbous tip of her nose. She obviously has some sagging that is natural and normal to her skin down on her cheeks. And she's probably had some cheek filler. It just looks overfilled just by a bit and gives this area that's below this nasal labial fold or this parentheses lines more definition is what, and that's not what you want. She's probably had a facelift because her jawline looks pretty smooth. Her neck is it looks a little aged to me. She's got those bands down below, and those are bands of muscle. They could be addressed. They can be addressed in a couple ways. You can take care of them in the upper neck for sure to help with the profile view. In the lower neck, you can take a wee bit of Botox and kind of just inject it down the line of that muscle to kind of soften it. You don't want to weaken it, but just soften it. So her neck is a little bit of a giveaway. Her lips have been done and they look terrible, just terrible. She tans too much, so her skin quality is bad. And then just as an aesthetic outside of surgery, the bleach blonde hair with the, you know, microwave oven cooked skin and the bad rhinoplasty and the dark eyeliner all the way around her eyes and the bad filler and the older looking neck just gives her a bad look. I'm not feeling it. So she's had Botox, you know, bad rhinoplasty, bad filler in her cheeks and lips, a facelift that's reasonable, a neck that probably needs a little bit more attention. This is just not good. So all right, moving on. All right, play a little Kim in the house. We know how to get little Kim in here. Biggest balls, baby, baby. All right, little Kim. Now, rumored to have about $20,000 worth of surgery. Again, she just looks bad. She just bad. Whew. No, on the right, she's not a bad looking girl. Like woman. She's not a bad looking woman. You know, did she need a rhinoplasty? In my opinion, no. She's a little wide at her base, but I think it fits her face. I think it looks good. I think she's got a good facial shape. Chin's a little long. I don't know if she's done anything there. It's a little long and pointed. I think if she has, I would stop getting filler on the if she's had that done on the left, or if she truly needs that chin reshaped. I think a genioplasty, which is an incision inside the gum area of the lower jaw and lip, allows us to access the bone and remove a little wedge of bone to kind of shorten the chin. So that's what I would say if she wanted something done to on if she came to me and wanted something done, she presents on the left. That's what I would say. But otherwise, she's good. What she has done is just, oh my God, it's terrible. First of all, she's gained weight. Okay, so we all gain weight. We just give her a pass there. I don't know what she's done to her skin. I mean, she's probably tried to bleach it, and she's got bad makeup that doesn't fit her. I'm not knocking blonde hair on brown skin. It's just not for everybody. It's not for her. Looks like she's probably. I don't think she's had anything done to her eyes. She's obviously had something done to her nose, and they butchered it. They just butchered it. The tip is too pinched. The nares are misshapen. Uh, there's some scarring there. It just looks completely unnatural for her face and her ethnicity. Let's just be let's just be real. It just doesn't look good at all. She's gained some weight, so she may have gained some weight in the face, but she's had fillers here. It just makes her face look too wide. She's already gained some weight. There's no way, it's no reason. Listen to me. If you're a little bit of a rounder lady, and you want a little bit more highlights on your cheek, getting cheek filler and filling your cheeks up is probably not the answer because it's just going to make you look like a chipmunk and make you look wider. So don't do that. Use makeup techniques. Use, techniques that give you kind of shadows and blush to kind of accent and highlight things. Uh, that's what I would recommend. But her nose job is an F. Lips look okay. She has had something done to her chin. It's either been shortened or reshaped. She's gained some weight, so there might have been just a little weight with that, but she's definitely had something to her chin. So overall, this is bad. Maybe I should start grading these. I, I, this is an F. She and Miss Versace, they got Fs. They just got bad plastic surgery. She's had, again, let's just assume she's had Botox. She's had a bad rhinoplasty. She's had some cheek filler, I believe, more than likely, or cheek enhancement. And she's done something to her chin, whether that's chin enhancement or chin remodeling, with either a genioplasty, which is a surgery that goes in and repositions the bone of the chin, or she just had it shaved to contour, or she's had an implant. I doubt she's had an implant. Implants are usually done to kind of augment her chin. She needs her chin reduced and reshaped, which I think she's had done. So this is an F. I'm not feeling that. All right. Megan Fox, rumored to have $8,000 worth of surgery. Okay, so this is young Megan Fox on the left. Cute girl. On the right, older, more mature look. You know, mm, again, just Botox. We'll go with that. She's done something with her brow. Her brow's a little arched. I'm gonna say that's probably Botox. I think her upper eyelids look unoperated. Again with the black mascara on the black eyeliner on the upper and lower eyelid line. I just think that's an old dated look, but that's just me. Everybody has their preference. She's definitely done something to her cheeks. Her cheekbones are more accentuated. Now, again, she's got a little bit of baby fat and youth fat on her cheek, on her face here on her left. It could just be maturity, but I doubt that. I doubt it's only maturity and slimming of the face. I think she's had some type of filler. Uh, her blush is okay. I think it's, again, I'm into the makeup thing now. I think it's a little too much and too wide of a red area. It's like somebody slapped her. Uh, so I don't know about that. She's had a rhinoplasty. I think her nose is pretty nice. If you look on the left, you see on the tip of her nose, she's got this kind of little cleft, and that's because the cartilages that come together in the middle are separated a bit. On the picture on the right, you don't really see that. So they've done at least a tip rhinoplasty. I think they probably have narrowed her a bit, but it's a pretty good rhinoplasty. I don't hate that. Her rhinoplasty is good. She's obviously had lip filler. Her lip filler is okay. I think it's okay. It might be a little too much for her narrow or sculpted face. It's a little fuller than I probably would have produced. If she wanted to go further with what I would produce, I mean, we could talk about that, but I think it's a little too full, but it's okay. I think she has not had a facelift. I don't think she's gotten into that sphere or that age range to have a facelift. So her jawline is it's good, and I think that's natural. So I think she's had Botox. I think she's had a rhinoplasty, which is a really good rhinoplasty, and I think she's had lip filler. And I think she's had cheek filler. I think overall her plastic surgery, if I could just grade that, is probably a B. I think a rhinoplasty really levels her up. I'm not really thrilled about the cheeks. Lips are pretty good, so I'll give her a B. Her makeup, I can have question with that, but again, my wife will have something to say about that. I'm not really a fan of this kind of dark goth look. Goth, if I can say that, it's just or roaring 20s look. I don't know what's going on with her, but anyway, I think she gets a B. All right. So we've gone through that, and I'm going to go back because I gave a couple people grades and a couple people I didn't. So let's go back. I think Blake Lively overall with her rhinoplasty is her main focus, getting a plastic surgery and having that done. I think she probably gets a B. Clay Aiken, I think he's had some form of a tip rhinoplasty and some jawline enhancement for sure. Probably upper lower bleph. B, C plus. Uh, Dolly Parton, C. And the reason I say that, her bleph, her upper eyelid lift and brow are bad. Her facelift is pretty good. Her neck is good. Her neck and facelift give her an A. Her eyes give her an F. So that's a C if you average that together to me. Let's see. Donatella Versace, F. Just an F. Bad skin, bad nose job, bad cheek filler or enhancement, bad lips, bad neck, just bad. Little Kim, F. Bad nose, terrible nose, terrible nose. Bad filler that may be, again, that may be just weight, but bad cheek filler. Uh, Chin's okay. She's had something done to it. It's reasonable, but she gets a good F. Then finally, Megan Fox. You know, good rhinoplasty, really good rhinoplasty. Reasonable lips. You know, probably give her a B plus. Probably B plus. Not digging the makeup and not digging the hair, but that's another story. And so, but last but not least, I've gone through those celebrities, and those are the plastic surgery procedures I think they had, and I've given my critique of them. This is a celebrity that I think has a really good result. So let's bring her up. All right, this is Jane Fonda. Ain't got no motor in her Honda. So Jane is probably pushing mid 80s at least. You know, obviously young Jane on the left, mature Jane on the right. She's obviously had a facelift. It's a really good facelift. Her neck is phenomenal. Now that might just be genetics, but her facelift is really good from this frontal view. And I can't see the scars on the side, but she's got a nice, not overly done. It's not pulled up. Doesn't have this sweeping deformity that you can see where you got this pulling like you're in a wind tunnel. She's got nice definition to her jawline. It looks natural. She's probably had something done to her eyes, and I can say that because she's got a little bit of that A-frame deformity of her upper eyelid, just that peak right here. So they probably overdid it just a bit, but it's okay. Her brows are reasonable. They didn't go crazy with that. They probably didn't do anything because they really are kind of flat, which works for her. They're not super arched. So upper eyelid lift, probably she had some type of pinch to her lower just because she probably had that done at the same time as her facelift. So, this is probably an A. This is probably an A. The only thing I would take, um, you know, only thing I would kind of push back on, I guess is what I'm trying to say, as I search for words, is that it probably got a little aggressive in the upper inner portion of her upper eyelid lift, gave her a little bit of a hollow look. But overall, I think this is an A. So that's my celebrity tech, criteria. And what am I trying to say? I can't find words today. That's my celebrity critique of facial aesthetic surgery and people and the reasons, you know, why I think they're good and the reasons why I think they're bad. And if you want to have plastic surgery and you want to work with me, these are the things that I think about when we're going through the things that you want to improve. I give you the reasons why I think something should be done and the reasons why I think it shouldn't be done and what our end goal is. We can't bring your waist in from a size 36 to a 19 by taking out ribs. That's been done. I don't think it's a great idea. That's just my opinion. We can do things to bring you from a 36, I'm being silly, to a 32 by doing some contouring, whether it's tummy tuck or lipo. You get the picture. We should not, I'll put it that way, we should not take your nose that fits your ethnicity and change it so that it doesn't look like it fits your ethnicity. I think that's a telltale sign. Now, you may want that. I'm going to give you evidence as to why I think that might, in the long run, be a bad idea. So these are some of the things that when you come to my office and sit with me for consultation, that we go through. We try to make sure that we're transparent and, again, give you truth so that you can move toward your transformation. With that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching again. Nope, I don't want to put that on there. Take that off. Take that off. Come on, add to the stage. All right, there we go. Again, if you like this content and you want to see more of it, please subscribe. It just takes you to just do that. So that's all I'm saying about that. Again, I really thank you. If you want to talk with me in more depth, certainly you can call my office. Here's the office number below. Otherwise, I will see you next Saturday on YouTube anytime after 11 a.m. My podcast episodes are available. My podcast audio episodes of these previous episodes that I've done, probably about 15 now, are available on Podbean. That's Podbean, and soon, hopefully, to be available in audio form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so on and so forth. But I'll let you know how that goes as we get closer to kind of putting that or these podcasts on those platforms. So until next Saturday, wherever you are in the world, please be kind, stay in a peaceful mind, and we'll see you next Saturday. Peace.